is Monday, July the 3rd, 2023. I'm James, you are you, and we are here for a very special episode of At Home with James. As you can see in our title, that tonight's technical director, Dave Kaufman, said it as it is tribute episode, because tonight we honor the life, the legacy, and the memory of Canadian sex educator and sex expert, host of the Sunday night sex show, Dr. Sue Johanson, who recently passed away, strangely enough, less than 10 days after we did about 20 minutes on Dr. Sue as part of our Micro Topics Volume 2 edition of At Home, which was hosted by Dave and myself. We're not going to waste any time getting into this. Let's welcome Dave to the show. Dave, that's quite a background you've got in memory of Dr. Sue Johanson.
Hey, well, she was a big, she had a big presence, and so nothing's better than a big picture of her.
Wow, your back was really against the wall with that response to that question, wasn't it?
Well, I was going to call her a big lady, and then I was like, oh, that doesn't sound right.
A big presence was a nice pivot. Now,
Yeah.
Dave, when I heard this news, I was very surprised because, as mentioned, we had done the show and we'd watch a variety of clips from the Sunday night sex show on our show. How did you take the news?
I took it, I didn't take it well, but I didn't take it too poorly either.
Right.
I guess, it's a sad day, but she also lived a long, happy life. Maybe this is selfish, but I was hoping that this didn't bring about a At Home with James Micro Topics curse.
Yeah, we certainly don't want to be casting a death spell, because then the Moffats are in big trouble.
Yeah, the Moffats. Wherever you are, I hope your heart doesn't go bang, bang, boom.
Now, this is how you know we built chemistry, because I was biding my time waiting to make the exact same joke. It is coincidental, though, don't you think? As you mentioned, she was an older lady. She's in her early 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
It did give me the jitters a little bit.
Yeah, it is coincidental. I agree. But, when you're in your early 90s, talking about death is always morbid, but when you're in your early 90s, I think you're a much more fragile person than if you're younger. So it's not.
You're not even in the back nine anymore. You've got a couple strokes left.
Yeah, well, hopefully not literal ones, or maybe, but yeah, it's tough out there being 90. But everyone meets their maker at some point, and I could only be so hopeful to live that long and have such a prosperous career.
Well, strokes take on a whole new meaning when talking about Dr. Sue Johanson. Dave, did you have the pleasure of watching the Sunday night sex show at any moment?
That's true, actually. If you stroking it, so to speak.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah.
In case people were absent-minded about it. Yes.
I said so to speak. I could have meant anything. I've seen the show. I definitely watched clips. It wasn't something that I watched every Sunday. The family and I didn't get together and.
Come on, David. The Sunday night sex show's on. Me and your mother are on the couch.
Yeah,
We're eating some popcorn I found at the movie theater.
Yeah, it's a terrible impression of my dad, but
It's, folks, you don't know Dave's father. It's a very good impersonation.
I mean, apparently I don't know my father because that doesn't sound anything like him to me.
We hear the people closest to us in our own unique ways. You might hear him as, "Hey, Dave, it's me, your dad." Whereas I hear, "David, hey, David, the sex show's Sunday night.
Yeah.
Come on downstairs. You might learn a thing or two."
Although my dad would probably say that it's all healthy, Dave.
Okay, so you think that your dad would have been in favor of Dr. Sue Johanson's Sunday night sex show, where again, she was a sex educator and expert.
I think he loves education, my dad. I think he loves, properly followed medical advice. And
what about sexual education?
Sexual education, I'm sure he'd be, he'd be like, oh, it's important. It's important.
So that's your impersonation of your dad. They could not be more different.
Yeah. Dave.
Well, your impersonation caps out at Dave,
Yeah.
where I gave you a full-length scenario.
Sure, yeah. But you're a better
Now,
impersonator than I am.
oh, so it is a good impersonation
I'm
then.
not saying it's good, but you have the skills to go longer than I do.
Now,
As Dr. Sue might say.
of course, meaning that you might go long in sexual intercourse, just to clarify.
I mean, sure.
Prior to coming on the air, I asked you what the likelihood
Coming
of
on
you
the
getting
air, James?
emotional during this episode would be. You said 0% chance of you getting emotional.
Yeah, I'm not, I like to think of sort of tributes and farewells as celebrations of life and not sad occasions of grievances.
I think that's a nice way to put it. And hopefully, this is the first and last tribute edition of this show we're ever going to have to do. But on the
Hopefully.
subject of death, Dave, you've been going to funerals frequently.
Yeah, unfortunately, a few of,
Unfortunately, I thought they were celebrations.
well, they're celebrations of life.
One man's funeral is your party.
I'm not celebrating that they pass away. I'm celebrating the life because unfortunately they have passed away. I would, in any case, rather that they didn't pass away to begin with.
But you have been going to funerals.
I've been
frequenting.
I've been frequenting funerals because some family friends of mine and some families of my friends have passed away. So I've been paying tribute at places of worship a couple times in the last week.
And now you're celebrating another life.
And I'm celebrating another life. Yeah, absolutely.
How was the food at the services you attended?
Well, one was non-existent. One was just like, it was. I didn't go for like the reception part. I just went for the ceremony, and so there was no food served. And the other one had samosas and some cake, which was nice.
It's an interesting pairing.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was an Indian.
You get to the table, sir. Would you like some samosas or a slice of cake?
Yeah, or a water bottle.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was, real celebrating then.
Well, we're launching into this episode on a real happy note. We watched a series of clips from the Sunday Night Sex Show a few weeks back, as mentioned, and I thought it only felt appropriate to do a full-length episode where we go back and watch some clips. And we're going to start this one off with a news story, which basically profiles Dr. Sue. I believe the CBC put this together. So for people watching, whether they're currently live on twitch.tv/@home-with-James, or you're watching this in the VOD bank, you're going to get to know Dr. Sue in a way that maybe you didn't know prior.
Yeah, and this just for a little bit more context, this video came out in 1986, which is before you were born, James.
It was 1 year before I was born. That's right. September 5th, 1987.
But I was born before this came out.
This was 10 years after you were born.
No, I'm not 47 years old.
Aren't you?
I'm not. I am 10 years younger than that, and I'm 2 years older than you.
That's true.
Yeah. So let's pull up the vid.
All right.
I'm doing it. I'm pulling it up. There we go.
Perform in bed with two females.
Well, I personally think I'm pretty good.
Do you think you could?
Her name is Sue Johanson,
Johanson,
and for the last year and a half, she spent her Sunday evenings answering questions. Every imaginable question about sex.
I'm interested in trying it, but I'm just wondering, like, what happens if I wake up the next morning and I got two of them looking me in the face, you know?
That's right, exact.
Her audience is more than double the competition. They tell her things they'd never tell another living soul. She says the reason is simple.
Because they're desperate. They can't find anybody else that they can really open up to, who will trust, who will not put them down.
Let me tell you, she's so old, she hasn't done it in 30 years.
She couldn't talk to her own kids about sex, but now Sue talks to other people's kids by the hundreds.
I figure I've got about 15 seconds to establish credibility, to prove to you that I know what I'm talking about.
Today, it's grade 9 and 10s in Kitchener. One stop on a lecturing tour that takes her across the country. She says she doesn't condone sex. She says she deals with the reality. She's seen kids in trouble before.
Make sure, if you're going to be involved in sexual activity, you get a method that's going to work. Because 1 in 5 teenagers gets pregnant the first time she does it. Just make sure you are not amongst those statistics.
It's information they've all heard before, but it's agreed there's something about the way Sue tells it.
She made it fun and different from health class or something like that, where you have to learn it and then write a test on it. But here it was something that you could just listen to and think about.
Making kids think about the consequences of sex is what educators have tried to do for years. Dr. Marion Powell of the Bay Center for Birth Control says Sue can't stop kids from having sex.
But what she can do in a very amusing way is say it's okay to talk about it. It's okay. There are people who understand what you're going through as a teenager.
And how does she know what teenagers are going through?
It hasn't changed from when I was a teenager. It hasn't changed that much. We have not come a long way.
Sue's goal is to make sex as easy to talk about as last night's baseball scores. Her weekly show on Rogers Cablevision does elicit the odd call from angry parents, but Sue doesn't care. She knows kids are confused about sex. Her message is, if you're confused, don't do it. If you're going to do it safely.
There you have it.
Well, a couple notable moments. First, from the chat, High Score Run legendary viewer writes, Dr. Sue at the Apollo, in reference to Sue educating those teens on stage. That is officially in pole position for comment of the night, which of course gets you James's kiss of the night.
Now, James, do you think that it's a coincidence that you were born 1 year after Ruth was giving these lectures? Not Ruth, Sue.
Yeah, you're getting your sex educators and experts wrong. No, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that Dr. Sue's Sunday Night Sex program not only encouraged teens, but young adults as well as adults to have sex. And my mother was one of the 1 in 5 who became impregnated the first time.
Could be. But
how about that second doctor, that other old lady? Now, do you think she's still with us?
I'd like to think so. She seems a little bit younger than Sue Johanson. I mean, Sue
She
still
looked like
was...
Brian Dennehy.
She did look like Brian Dennehy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Handsome man. But it's interesting how, as a society, we find comfort in diverting to old women for sexual advice.
Now, do you think if it had been a male doctor, he would have been as celebrated?
No, absolutely not. I think that there would be a...
Dr. Ray.
Dr. Ron.
Yeah.
Dr. Ray.
What if it was your dad?
If my dad was a sex educator and lecturing kids and sort of...
I'm not saying that I condone sex. If you're confused, don't do it.
Blowjobs.
Oh, so you think your old man would lead in like that as he's stretching out and
like
testing a prophylactic?
Like he's gonna make a balloon dog or something.
Yeah.
I don't think I feel like it comes across as more pervy when it's a older man.
I would have loved to have heard some of the calls they talked about where parents call into the show to get mad at Dr. Sue.
Does that happen? I guess.
That's what was mentioned at the end. Sometimes she gets calls from angry parents.
Yeah,
her intro at that talk was very good.
It was good. I'll say this: parents, they just don't understand.
Yeah. How about that song too?
The Parents Don't Understand one by Will Smith
not
and
the
Jazzy
not
Jeff.
the Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff. The talking sex song that played.
Sex.
Yeah.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
If I was a kid or a young adult rather, and I heard that, I'd be like, this older lady, she's with it.
She had a big presence and a big personality.
Big personality, big presence. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're going to get right into it. We're going to watch what I believe to be some of the best of clips. Now, I will say it is difficult to track down Dr. Sue clips online. You'd imagine there'd be a plethora, but there really isn't. So I've done some digging, and I've found some that I think are really going to benefit tonight's tribute edition.
Well, what was so hard? I mean, you just went to YouTube, James, right?
Yeah, but you'd imagine there'd be countless clips.
It's true. I wonder if there's like if you go to like the Canadian National Library, if you could find like a bunch of VHS tapes of all the episodes.
I would love it.
Yeah. Maybe we should go.
Well, let's get started now that we've let people know really who Dr. Sue was and what she stood for. We're going to watch some carefully selected and curated clips from the Sunday Night Sex show as we remember Dr. Sue Johanson.
Rolling.
And moving on, we have Tony calling in from Ottawa. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Sue. How are you tonight?
I am well. You've got a question.
Okay, me and my girlfriend, we have anal sex a lot,
Yeah?
and we don't use condoms when we do it. And someone told me that you could get the...
Before we go any further, James, do you have advice for Tony?
I really like how quickly he came in. Oh, hey there, Sue. So listen, me and my girlfriend have anal sex and we don't use condoms. Sue can't believe it.
A lot.
Yeah, Sue can't believe it. She
Yeah.
can't believe it.
Maybe it's Tony Danza.
Yeah, from Ottawa.
Yeah.
girl pregnant by having anal sex. I mean, obviously it's not direct, but I mean, it's when like it leaks out and
Yeah.
it slips down the skin.
That's
there.
right. Because if you have anal sex, usually the female is in doggy position. You know what I mean by doggy style?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's on the bottom with her tush stuck up in the air, and you have anal penetration that way. But when you pull out, some of that ejaculate can come with your penis and drizzle down over her genitals and around, and if any of it gets in contact with her vagina, the vaginal opening, those little guys can swim. And those sperm know which way is up. And they got a one-track mind. They're going to get there.
Okay, now, like, what's like the likelihood of that?
Well, are you going to take a chance?
Mm-hmm.
What, I mean, does it matter? If the likelihood was 1%, the guy with your lucky, you'd be the 1%.
You're right.
Is she using any method of birth control?
Yeah, she's on the pill.
Oh, well then, honey, you don't have to worry about that, because if she's on the pill, she's not ovulating.
Okay, so it's not like, what happens if you, like, swap your penis when you're...
Now, wait a minute. Let's deal with the first one.
Okay.
I'm concerned about the risk of HIV and infection of other sexually transmitted diseases. Is that a possibility?
No, it's not.
You haven't got herpes, or she hasn't got warts?
No.
Or you've never had gonorrhea?
No.
Okay. Well, and the other thing is you're not having anal sex and then vaginal sex.
Oh, no.
Okay, then I guess I'd prefer you to use a condom, because you're sticking in your penis in a canal full of poo. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's poo-poo, caca, doo-doo, number 2 in there. And so that's where your penis is. Is that where you want your penis to be? Think about it.
Think about it, James.
Now, Dave, as someone who has impregnated a woman, can you speak to this?
Speak to what exactly?
You have any, as high score run writes, accidental anal drizzle?
I'm fortunate enough to know that neither of my children were born from accidental anal drizzle.
You weren't putting your thing where there's caca, doo-doo, poo-poo, number 2?
Not in these scenarios, no. No, I'm fairly confident that there was no...
Great ending to the clip in the call.
Yeah, absolutely. I like she kind of went into little Bernie Sanders, the 1%.
Bernie Sanders?
What am I thinking of? Oh my
Bernie
god.
Mac?
Bernie Mac. Yeah, Bernie Sanders. Oh, okay. Did I say the wrong name?
Bernie Sanders, the politician?
Yeah.
Gonna be sticking your...
You're gonna be part of the 1%.
Gonna be caca and poo-poo and number 2, and you might be part of the 1%.
Yeah, exactly.
With your luck, you'll be part of the 1%. I hope you're listening to Mr. Sanders, David. She really gave a master class on nicknames for feces.
Yeah. Poo-poo, doo-doo, caca.
Yeah. Number 2.
She also had some
good advice,
hand gestures. And, probably best verbal description of what doggy was that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to the next clip.
Sounds good.
have Miklos. Hi, Miklos.
Hi, Sue. How are you? Love the show.
Oh, thank you. Good. I'm glad you like it. You got a question?
Yeah, my question today is, I've been...
Hold on, is this
with my
caller
girlfriend
Bobcat Goldthwait? Is who has it on the show?
It's Miklos from Chicago,
Yeah.
Illinois. So
Yeah.
I guess she was international.
Beloved
Yeah.
from across North America. Let's continue.
I didn't know our friends down south knew her.
about 6 years now, and we've had a pretty good relationship. I mean, we've been engaged for quite a while, but we're just waiting for the right time to get married.
Yeah.
And I've been staying at her place for the last like 3 or 4 years, and after we have sex, after we go to bed at night, I've been having a problem where I can't stop having these wet dreams, and she's very concerned that. I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed about it. I just don't. I feel bad because I mean, she does the job good. It's just I mean.
Honey, why are you feeling badly? What's happening is you've had good sex with your partner, you're satisfied, and everything's fine. You fall asleep, you have a sexual dream. Everybody has sexual dreams. That's okay, that's normal, it's fine, okay? And during that dream, wet dreams don't just happen. Usually you will masturbate without really knowing what you're doing. You're doing it. You're masturbating and you ejaculate.
Okay.
And then you suddenly wake up and think, oh my, I've sprung a leak. Oh man, I'm a pervert. I'm oversexed. And your girlfriend is looking at you as if to say, wow, don't you ever get enough? You know, that
that's
kind
exactly
of.
what she
I've
does.
heard that before.
Okay. Well, you know, you need to explain that it was a wet dream. And it's not because you're not satisfied sexually or that she's not good. It's in addition to. It's not in competition with a relationship. It's in addition to. And it's okay. And if it happens, it happens. And don't feel guilty and don't feel ashamed. And you know what? I am willing to bet that your girlfriend has wet dreams too, and she may not even know about it.
Well, I'm going to have to ask her about that now.
Oh, well, she won't know. She probably won't know. Because females don't get erections, and we don't ejaculate like you do and end up with a wet bed, you know.
Yeah.
But she might wake up in the middle of the night and realize, oh my goodness, what's going on? I'm all wet down there. And then if she is brave enough to think back, she will remember that she had this dream. And it's like, wow, okay. And that was a wet dream for her. Normal, natural, it's okay, beautiful things. Don't worry about it. You're not oversexed, you're not a pervert, and there's nothing wrong. Okay? Enjoy.
Oh, honey.
You know, I don't recall him being concerned that he was a pervert.
No, she kind of projected that onto him.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's still good advice. I feel like it's not that hard. Okay, this might be controversial. I feel like it's not that hard to be a sex therapist.
Okay, well, I think that there is truth to what you're saying, although with a question like that, that's bred mostly out of insecurity, right? Where a lot of these questions, certainly I don't think we'd be able to answer them in the way that she would in such great detail.
You don't think so?
There's only one way to put it to the test.
We become a sex talk show?
You and I need to take over the Sunday night sex show, build up to one great big Sunday night episode where we ask people for the entire month, send us your sex questions, and we're going to see how well we can answer them.
I think that's a good idea. I feel like it's always like, don't do something, don't be ashamed. Don't do a lot of butts.
A lot of it's applying common sense.
A lot of it's applying common stuff. Don't be ashamed. A lot of it's like, don't do like violent butt stuff.
But people do.
And, you know, wear prophylactic.
Now, we would need to get a sex expert and educator on the show. We would answer the question first, and then the sex expert would say, that is good advice. Or, no, you got that wrong.
That's true. We wouldn't want to misinform anybody just because of our ignorance.
Pretty good idea for an episode. Coming soon. Let's move on to the next clip.
Don't take the whole penis in your mouth.
Great
This is not what you do. You don't take this whole penis in your mouth. You're going to gag for sure. Never, never. Look, the sensitive part of the penis is right there, and right around there, and right around the tip here. This has some sensitivity, yeah, but not all that much. So you're going to perform oral sex on him. Then you can lick and kiss and suck and do whatever you like, and do that up the shaft of the penis and along the side and around to his testicles. Hey, no problem. And then you take just the head of his penis in your mouth. That's all. And you drool great quantities of saliva down the shaft of his penis. And then you grip the penis very gently with your hand, and you coordinate hand-mouth movements. So it's like that.
He just keeps saying he wants deep throat, you know.
Well, if he wants deep throat, then let him use the dildo. That's too simple.
That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah, there we
I'll
go.
have to tell him that one. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Sue.
You're welcome,
Have a
Shuna.
good night.
I will. You too.
He just keeps saying he wants deep throat. Deep throat.
Maybe it's Richard Nixon.
Yeah, this lady has been sleeping with Richard Deep throat. Deep throat.
Yes,
This is a real carousel of impersonations for me tonight.
That was a pretty good one. I kind of felt like she was giving like a recipe for cookies or something.
Well, she's also I think Dr. Sue was into equality and fairness, right?
Sure, yeah, it's not...
And it certainly does not seem one-sided to only women, because I've seen her have conversations with men where she says that they need to be as free as perhaps a woman would be, or even maybe wouldn't be, in expressing what makes them feel good or bad, right? A couple weeks ago, we saw the clip of the guy whose significant other wanted him to urinate all over her.
Yeah, that's true.
And he said, should I do it?
Generally, I feel like, yeah, half of these, there's like one partner who's asking a little bit much of the other partner, and Sue's like...
Yeah, this last guy is feeling bad because his girlfriend gets mad at him for having nocturnal emissions.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
And
apparently
Dr.
you
Seuss
could have
has
after you had sex. That I didn't know that. I legit didn't know that. So maybe I am not qualified.
This is why we're doing this episode tonight, not only to celebrate Dr. Sue, but maybe some of us will learn something.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't learn these at the other funerals that I went to.
Yeah, what'd you learn there?
I mean, actually, I learned a lot about Montreal history of left-wing activism, but
all right,
and a little bit about playing the upright bass.
Let's go to the next clip.
Is it? Yeah, it's this.
LeBaron. Hello, LeBaron.
Hey, Sue.
Hello. You got a question?
Yes, I do.
Got it.
This is a car calling?
First off, I'd like to tell you that this is my favorite show.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
Oh, thank you.
My favorite show.
Me and my boyfriend started off, and at first we was just like had a fetish for like meat, and he was like cooking burgers and stuff, and I was wondering, is it safe to stick the meat inside of him?
Okay.
Because I like asked him what he thought about it, and he was worried.
Okay, wait, just as a preview for our own episode, what do you think about this problem, James?
I think you're risking maybe getting mad cows meat.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't. Also, I feel like this guy is a Chrysler LeBaron.
It's, he piqued my interest when he was cooking burgers.
Yeah.
Okay, where's this going?
Where's it going?
I'm wondering what type is it? Is it kind of like a kafta kebab? Is it a crumble?
I think he's talking about legit burgers because they did the cooking before they got turned on by it.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to agree that it's not safe.
Let's see where this goes. Too greasy.
Let me backtrack. You
Too
want
greasy.
to insert meat, raw meat or cooked? Raw meat or cooked?
Cooked, I guess, is okay.
Well,
Raw.
we just ate cooked food off of each other.
Yeah, into each other's rectum.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Well, like, at first it was because we was eating hamburgers, and I told him I was a 28-year-old man and I can eat chicken sandwich if I wanted to, like, But
I don't get it.
Yeah, okay. I think I got this imagination.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can get. Honestly, There's nothing you can get. If the meat is raw, I was thinking of raw pork. The possibility of you getting little worms. Raw pork can have little worms in it. That's why you got to cook pork very well.
It's also not kosher.
Then you kill the worms. Isn't that nice? Aren't you glad I told you that? So don't use raw pork.
Yeah.
But raw hamburger, no, should be fine.
Well, yeah, I asked him about it, and he, like, I don't know if he's making an inside joke. He said something about, all you American beef cattle, stay calm and you can go home to your precious TV dinners. That made me feel kind of weird. But I was just wanting to stick, like, the sausage inside of him.
No, it's okay.
Stick it in his bum a little bit.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
But isn't there bacteria in the bum
Nothing
soup?
bad's going to happen. What I'm having trouble with wrapping my brain around, what is the pleasure in using raw meat anally?
I don't know. It's just a turn on. Like, for me it is. I just don't know. He was into me eating it off of him, but I don't know if he's into me sticking it in him. Like I said, he said that remark and it made me feel kind of weird.
Yeah.
Made me feel a little mushy, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'll be all right. I really do. And you're going to eat the meat afterwards or while it's in his rectum?
Well, I don't know. Do you think I should use a condom for that?
On the meat?
Yeah. Like, if I use, like, a bratwurst or something?
Yeah, I guess.
In between his holy grail?
Yeah. Because, you see, it's been in his rectum. So there might be feces in with the meat then.
Yeah.
So I would say put a condom on the meat. Yeah. Put the condom on the meat. You got like a piece of steak or something like that, roll it up, stuff it in a condom, and do it that way. I don't know. That kind of kills it all to me, but I don't know. I think it'd probably be okay. I can't guarantee anything. I'm sure we'll get some, questions about that one because I really don't know. I've never had that question before. So let's move on.
Well, everyone knows that it takes too long to get a condom on a bratwurst. It goes spoiled by the time you get